If you think you already know everything about Maine Coon cats, stop right there. Because out of the 20 facts I'm about to share, you probably don't know even one of them. Fact number 11 is so shocking that even some breeders try to hide it. And if you stay till the end, I'll tell you one thing every Maine Coon owner should know, but 99% don't. Let's get started. Number 1, their growth takes 3 times longer than other cats. Most domestic cats reach full adult size within about a year. Maine Coons take dramatically longer, often 3 to 5 full years before they're completely grown. That fully grown 1-year-old you're looking at is really still a teenager, with bones still lengthening and a body still filling out. This extended growth window is a big part of why Maine Coons end up so much larger than average cats. Their bodies simply spend years longer building size and structure. It's also exactly why so many owners describe their cats as staying playful and kitten-like. Well past the age most other breeds have fully settled into adulthood, some owners say their 3-year-old still knocks things off shelves like it's 4 months old. Number 2, their voice doesn't match their size at all. You'd expect a cat this massive, some nearly the size of a small dog, to have a deep, commanding voice. Instead, Maine Coons chirp and trill in this soft, high-pitched way that sounds like it belongs to a kitten a tenth of their size. Experts think this developed because these cats rarely needed to compete loudly for territory or attention in Maine's forests. Their vocal style evolved around closeness and bonding, not dominance. So you pick up this enormous fluffy giant expecting a growl, and instead, you get a tiny chirp. It's one of the most endearing contradictions in the entire breed, and honestly, it's the moment most new owners fall completely in love with them. Number 3, their coat is actually water-resistant. Most people assume their thick, shaggy fur exists purely for warmth. That's only half true. Their coat is built in 3 distinct layers, and this structure makes it naturally water-resistant, similar to certain working dog breeds built for cold, wet climates. This matters because cats and water almost never mix. It's practically a universal stereotype. Maine Coons break it completely. Thanks to that water-resistant coat, many of them genuinely enjoy interacting with water, dipping paws into bowls just to play, following owners into the bathroom, even attempting to climb into a running bathtub. This trait likely developed because early Maine Coons lived in constantly damp, snowy coastal conditions, where a moisture-resistant coat meant the difference between staying warm and freezing. So if your cat randomly jumps into the shower with you, don't panic. It's built for that. Number 4, this breed is America's oldest natural cat breed. When people hear purebred, they usually picture a carefully controlled breeding program. That's not how the Maine Coon came to exist at all. This breed developed completely naturally, shaped by nothing but Maine's brutal winters and natural selection over decades. The cats that survived were the ones with thick coats, big paws, and sturdy bodies. And those traits simply carried forward generation after generation without any human design behind them. Today, the Maine Coon is officially recognized as North America's oldest native cat breed. It's not just a pet, it's a living piece of unedited history, written entirely by nature rather than a breeder's notebook, shaped by centuries of frozen New England winters, long before anyone thought to give it a fancy pedigree name. Number 5, their brain is wired for dog-like loyalty. If you own a Maine Coon, you already know they don't behave like typical cats. They follow you from room to room, wait by the door when you leave, and some genuinely play fetch, bringing a toy back over and over like a retriever would. This isn't just your cat being unusually friendly. It's a documented behavioral trait of the breed. Maine Coons form unusually strong bonds with their owners and treat them almost like a pack leader, the complete opposite of the independent, aloof stereotype most cats carry. It's a huge part of why people who want dog-like companionship, but with lower maintenance, keep gravitating toward this breed specifically. You get the loyalty without the daily walks. Number 6, their tail is a built-in survival tool. This might be the most underrated fact on this entire list. The Maine Coon's long, thick, bushy tail isn't just there to look majestic. It's a functional survival tool that evolved for one specific job, keeping them alive through brutal winters. Back when these cats lived largely outdoors, temperatures regularly dropped far below freezing. To cope, they developed the habit of wrapping their massive tails around their face and paws like a built-in scarf protecting the most heat-sensitive parts of their body from the cold. And that instinct never went away. Even now, in a warm, modern living room, you'll catch your Maine Coon curling its tail tightly around itself while sleeping. An ancient survival habit still playing out on your couch, thousands of miles and generations away from the frozen forests it was built for. Number 7, these gentle giants were often born polydactyl. Older Maine Coon lines commonly had extra toes. Some cats have been recorded with up to 7 toes on a single paw. It's called polydactylism, and it wasn't a rare fluke. It was practically a signature trait of the breed's early population. Sailors in the 1800s actually sought these cats out on purpose. The extra toes gave them noticeably better balance on rocking, unstable ship decks, and made them faster, more effective hunters against the rats and mice that threatened food supplies at sea. As modern breed standards took over, this trait became rarer through selective breeding, since show competitions typically favor a standard paw shape. But some dedicated breeders today are quietly working to preserve these old polydactyl bloodlines because they connect directly back to the breed's original seafaring roots, a genetic time capsule hiding in plain sight on a modern house cat's paw. Number 8. There's a legend about them that isn't true, but is still fascinating. Every legendary breed needs a legendary myth, and the Maine Coons is one of the best. Old folklore claim this cat descended from a domestic cat breeding with a raccoon, supposedly explaining both the name coon and the long ringed-looking tail. Biologically, this is completely impossible. Cats and raccoons aren't even remotely close as species, and they simply cannot interbreed. But in the 1800s, before people had any real understanding of genetics, this wasn't dismissed as a silly rumor. It was widely and seriously believed, passed down for generations across New England. The myth stuck around because Maine Coons genuinely do share some raccoon-like features: the ringed tail, the tufted ears, sometimes even similar coloring. Some versions of the story even got specific, claiming a particular sea captain's cat was the original ancestor. It's a perfect example of how a physical resemblance plus zero scientific knowledge can build a legend that survives for over a century. Number 9. Their paws work like built-in snowshoes. Maine Coon paws are noticeably bigger and rounder than most cats, and if you look closely between the toes, you'll spot extra tufts of fur growing out like little fur mittens. This isn't just a cute detail, it's a purpose-built adaptation. Those oversized tufted paws spread the cat's weight over a wider surface area so they don't sink into deep snow. In the harsh Maine winters this breed evolved in, that could have been the difference between successfully hunting and getting stuck exhausted in a snowdrift. Next time you're admiring your cat's huge fluffy paws, remember, you're looking at real evolutionary engineering, not just an adorable feature built specifically to keep an ancestor alive during a snowstorm centuries ago. Number 10. Female Maine Coons are significantly smaller than males. This fact throws off a lot of first-time owners, especially if they've only ever seen photos of the biggest, most famous male Maine Coons online. The size gap between males and females in this breed is far more dramatic than in most other breeds. Males routinely weigh 18 to 22 pounds, sometimes more, while females typically settle around 12 to 15 pounds. That's a big enough difference that placing an adult male and female side by side without knowing their breed might make you assume they're two completely different types of cat entirely. Breeders and vets track this gap closely, since a female growing unusually large, or a male staying unusually small, can sometimes be an early sign worth checking with a vet. Number 11. They have a health condition breeders don't always talk about. Here's the fact I teased at the start, and this one actually matters. Not just as trivia, Maine Coons are genetically predisposed to a serious heart condition called hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, or HCM. It causes the heart's walls to thicken over time, and the scary part is that it can develop silently without obvious symptoms until it's already severe. Responsible breeders run DNA tests and cardiac ultrasounds specifically to screen for HCM before breeding. But not every breeder is transparent about this. Some skip testing to cut costs, and some just don't mention the results unless you know to ask. If you already own a Maine Coon, or you're planning to get one, ask your breeder directly about HCM testing, and make sure your vet includes cardiac screening and regular checkups. It's usually a quick, painless ultrasound, but catching this early can genuinely change your cat's entire quality of life, and in some cases, add years to it. Number 12. This breed was once on the verge of extinction. It's hard to imagine now, given how popular Maine Coons are today, but this breed came dangerously close to disappearing entirely. In the 1950s, imported breeds like Persians and Siamese cats surged in popularity across America, and interest in the native Maine Coon collapsed almost overnight. What saved the breed wasn't some large organized rescue effort. It was a small group of dedicated breeders who refused to let it die out, quietly rebuilding careful breeding lines through the toughest decades with very little public attention. Today, the Maine Coon is one of the most popular breeds in the entire world, regularly ranking in the top 5 internationally. It's a genuine comeback story, and most current owners playing with their Maine Coon on the couch right now have no idea just how close this breed came to vanishing completely. Number 13. Their forehead M marking has a special meaning. Look closely at your Maine Coon's forehead, especially if it has a classic tabby pattern, and you'll usually spot a distinct M-shaped marking right between the eyes. Genetically, this is simply part of the tabby coat pattern, caused by the same gene responsible for their swirling stripes. But folklore tells a completely different story. Across several cultures, this marking is said to stand for Blessed by Mary, tied to old legends claiming tabby cats were specially marked as a sign of protection or good fortune. Whether you go with the genetics or the folklore, it's a small detail hiding in plain sight that most owners have honestly never looked closely enough to notice. Go check your own cat's forehead right now. You'll probably find it too. Number 14. This cat is officially a state cat. Here's a fact that shows just how deeply this breed is woven into American history. In 1985, Maine officially declared the Maine Coon its state cat. Not just a fun ceremonial gesture, but a genuine acknowledgement of its deep roots in the region. This kind of state-level recognition is incredibly rare for any cat breed anywhere in the world. Most states don't even have an official cat at all. It elevates the Maine Coon from being just a popular pet to being an officially recognized cultural symbol of the state it's named after. Number 15. This cat is fascinated by the sound of water. We already covered how their coat makes them comfortable around water, but this goes even deeper. Countless owners report their Maine Coon being almost obsessively drawn to running water specifically, insisting on drinking straight from a tap instead of a bowl, curiously climbing into an empty sink, or pawing at the bathroom door when they hear the shower running. Many experts trace this back to the breed's coastal New England origins, where these cats likely spent time fishing or scavenging near water as part of their natural environment. That ancestral connection seems to have stuck around, quietly showing up today as curiosity toward your kitchen sink, a tiny, everyday echo of a life spent near the docks and shoreline generations ago. Number 16. Their lifespan can actually be predicted through genetics. On average, a healthy Maine Coon lives between 12 and 15 years, fairly typical for a larger breed. But here's what most owners don't realize. Genetic testing can actually give you a meaningfully accurate prediction of your cat's likely lifespan. Cats that test, negative for HCM and other hereditary conditions common in the breed, tend to live significantly longer, sometimes reaching 18 years or more. This ties straight back to fact 11. Genetic and cardiac testing isn't just a box to check for peace of mind. It's genuinely one of the most powerful tools available for adding real, healthy years to your time with your cat. Number 17. This breed is known for talking to its owners. We touched on their unusual chirping voice earlier, but it's worth going deeper because this breed is genuinely one of the most vocal and expressive in the entire cat world. Maine Coons don't just meow when they want food, they chirp, trill, and chatter throughout the day in what many owners describe as ongoing conversations. Researchers who study feline behavior note that this level of vocal expressiveness is unusually high compared to most breeds. It doesn't just look like attention-seeking, it appears to be a genuine form of emotional communication, almost like the cat is actively responding to you rather than just demanding something. Owners who've lived with multiple breeds consistently point out how much more talkative their Maine Coon is compared to anything else they've ever owned, often describing entire back-and-forth exchanges that happen every single morning before breakfast. Number 18. The largest Maine Coon ever was a world record holder. Let's close this list with a fact that puts the sheer scale of this breed into perspective. A Maine Coon named Stewie officially holds the Guinness World Record for the longest domestic cat ever measured, stretching an incredible 48.5 inches from nose to tail. That's nearly double the length of an average house cat. Stewie became something of a global celebrity, appearing on television and news outlets around the world, proving just how extraordinarily large this breed is capable of growing under the right genetics and care. Owners who met him in person said photos genuinely didn't do him justice. He looked less like a house cat and more like a small, calm mountain lion lounging on the furniture. It's the perfect closing fact because it ties together everything we've covered. The natural evolution, the extended growth period, the powerful build, all resulting in a breed capable of producing an animal that broke world records simply by existing. Number 19, they were once show champions. Before cat shows, even had modern rules. Most people assume cat shows are a fairly modern invention, but Maine Coons were actually stealing the spotlight over a century ago. Back in 1895, a Maine Coon named Cozy won Best in Show at one of the very first organized cat shows in America, held at Madison Square Garden in New York. Decades before breeds like Persians and Siamese even had a real foothold in the country. Cozy's silver collar from that win still exists today and is kept as a piece of feline history. What's wild is that after this early wave of fame, the breed almost completely vanished from the show scene for decades once foreign breeds became trendy, only to come roaring back generations later as one of the most competitive breeds in the ring. Most owners petting their Maine Coon on the couch right now have no idea their cat's ancestors were literal championship royalty before most other breeds even existed in America. Number 20, their whiskers are longer than almost any other breeds. Take a close look at your Maine Coon's whiskers next time it's sitting still, because they're doing more work than you'd think. Maine Coon whiskers are noticeably longer and thicker than those of most domestic cats, often extending well past the width of their own body. These aren't just decorative. Whiskers act like built-in radar, helping cats judge whether they can fit through tight spaces and detect changes in air currents around them, almost like a sixth sense. Given how large and bulky Maine Coons are, having extra long, extra sensitive whiskers makes total sense. It's nature's way of helping an oversized cat navigate the world without constantly bumping into things. So, if you've ever wondered why your cat sits so still and seems to be quietly reading a room before moving, its whiskers are doing exactly that.